Back to our top story, the disappearance of Flight 370. New focus now on the pilot and co-pilot seen here. Reports that this was all planned. Our next guest says it was an intentional and deliberate act, and he's with us now. Congressman Mike McConnell of Texas, chairman of Homeland Security Committee, with us from his home state. How are you, sir, and good morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you.
I heard you over the weekend with Chris Wallace say of those two options, route number one going up toward Pakistan and Kazakhstan, and route number two going off the west coast of Australia, you believe the focus is on option number two. Why is that?
Well, I believe if they went north towards Kazakhstan, there are so many radar detection capabilities, military systems. You know, if it's near Afghanistan, where we have Bagram Air Force Base, India, Pakistan, quite frankly, if it hits some of those airspaces, this plane may have been shot down. So I personally think it would have been picked up by radar. We would have found out about it. The Indian Ocean is wide open, and there's not a whole lot of detection going on there. And so that's why I think most experts that I talk to believe that that's where this aircraft went towards, and that's why it's so hard to find it right now.
Why could this plane not have just flown directly west? Why is that not an option on that map?
Well, we have a pretty good technical capability that indicates it did go south and to the west, okay, and not north, and you know, not north but south. So that's why our Navy is in the Indian Ocean. That's why we have jets in the Indian Ocean. And quite frankly, the Malaysian government would be great to have better cooperation from a military standpoint in trying to find this aircraft.
You're a former federal prosecutor, and you talked about the motivation and the intent, because that's what you look at first, right? And when you think about the pilot, you think about the co-pilot, this bit of information that's now being reported, that the co-pilot is the one who said good night. I don't know if that's significant or not. Is it?
Well, you know, it's significant they say good night and then the transponder turns off. Then the flight pattern is abruptly changed and goes a completely different direction. And that's why I said yesterday, I believe it's an intentional, deliberate act, not just an accident that just happened out of thin air. And so, but what is the motivation and intent behind this? Now, some would say, as I know you talked about Pete King saying it could be suicide. That's a possibility. We saw that on an Egyptian airline. It could be, a psychological problem. It could be also a possible link to terrorism, although we have scrubbed the manifest. We've done a lot of homework on the counterterrorism side of this, and there's not a lot of leads on that particular front, but two scenarios are possible. One, it ran out of fuel and crashed in the Indian Ocean. The other one, the plane landed somewhere in the Southeast Asia, possibly Indonesia, that could be used later as a weapon.
Since 9/11, the intelligence community has been asked to expand their